Well, I have no idea what happened to the focus. You got like 2 minutes of it. That was not on purpose, but I mean, it is what it is. I can't record all that stuff again. Sorry, guys. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm over here at Shop B&K Performance. We're going to work on this hot rod today. It's been a minute since I took it out of the trailer. It's been about a week. Well, I guess technically that's not very long, but we went racing at Fayetteville last week, Stunnerville, and we done pretty good. We went out first round. We were a first round duck. But the car was happy. It was on radials. It was going to go fast. It was pushing a little bit to the left. Now, if you look at the video, I'm going to put the video in here. The car takes off and goes pretty straight for quite a ways. And then it kind of starts drifting to the left. The wheels were up. And, you know, at that point, we've got a little bit of rear steer issue, maybe some anti-roll bar adjustment we can make. But there's also something else that could be causing this. And there's a lot of cars that they do it like this and they don't have any issues. But I have had issues in the past. So we're going to address it today. Let me show you what we got going on. We're trying to get ready for No Prep Kings. That's happening in 2 weeks in Virginia at No Prep Kings doing the small tire stuff. We got some decisions to make. Right now it's on the Pro Bracket radials. And we're contemplating just going on the Pro Bracket radials and seeing if it'll work. It may work. It may work on the Pro Bracket radials. When we were down there at Darlington, when we were at Virginia last time, the track gets pretty good. It's not super, but, you know, the slicks work and they work decent. But the Pro Bracket radials may actually work. The problem is the Pro Bracket radials cannot really stand much wheel speed. So it's either spin or hook. Our goal is to dead hook it. But if it doesn't dead hook, a slick, it'll still go. It'll be a little bit slower, but it will go, versus sometimes a radial, it'll tire shake real bad, or either it'll just knock the tire off completely. So we got some decisions to make. But let me show you what we got going on today. Go to turbojohnracing.com, grab yourself some merchandise, and comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Dang, that is hilarious. So we're fixing to get this thing out. We put this exhaust. This thing is pointing straight out. It's actually pointing ahead just a tad. And so think about it, guys. You see all the radial cars now. You see, you know, zoomies on like every individual header. There is force coming out of this downpipe, right? So you got the turbo is forward facing. So this thing has force. And so the force coming out the side over here could potentially push the car to the left. I actually had a car one time before. It was set up this exact same way. The car drove like crap. It was pushing left. I was constantly had to steer it back to the right. And it ended up, we had to put a bullhorn on it. And so the bullhorn solved the problem. And that's why you see a lot of people, they have bullhorns. If they got a single 5-inch pipe, it's got a little teeny tweak that comes up and goes, you know, off kind of to the back just to help redirect the force just a little bit. And a lot of people also, they'll run them straight like this, but instead of doing one on each side, one on one side, they'll do it on both sides. And that way you're fine. So what we're going to do, I came over here the other night and I went ahead and welded. I got me a V-band. Amazon is your friend. Now I'm getting killed on front end weight. And so, you know, it's just one of those things. It is what it is. I should have done this thing out of aluminum, but I didn't. I done it out of steel. So I came over here the other night and I welded this 90-degree bend. It's 5 inches and I got a V-band. And so this V-band, I don't know if you can tell, this one does not have a register on it. And the registers make it so that it's a little easier. But the solution is you just slide it on the pipe further. And then when you slide it on the pipe, you can see it'll actually butt up and be, you know, perfect in there. And then you can actually twist it. Well, you have to make sure the pipe doesn't come through too much, because if it's at an angle, then it makes it so it can't turn. So that is going to be the new look when we're doing like some no prep stuff in the front of the track. Or maybe when we're doing radial racing, you know, if we could also, that'll help keep the nose down as well, guys. I mean, think about it. So if this thing is facing up like this and we're directing that force, so now it's going pretty much up and back. So this is going to make it so that it helps push down on the front end. And we got this downpipe tied to the frame over here, and it's tied to the turbo as well. So that's some significant force. Now, I don't know how much it is. It's enough to where if you watch cars on the dyno, when they make, you know, 1,000, 1,500, 1,200 horsepower, it really makes a difference on which way that pipe's pointing. Sometimes it blows stuff off the ceiling. Sometimes it takes and, you know, blows stuff all off the, you know, blows straps around, blows stuff off the floor. So there is force there. So the other thing about making it, the reason I decided to do it with a V-band here is so that I can take it on and off when I get it in the trailer, but also so that I didn't have to choose what I wanted to do. So when we're doing back of the track stuff, we need a little bit of weight off the front. Maybe at some point, I don't know how I could test it. I guess I could put the car on scales and bring it up on the two-step and let it start banging and actually see if we can get a measurable amount of lift or thrust that this picks up on the front of the car. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, that's a terrible idea to point that thing down in front of the tires. Well, if you notice, it is sticking out just a little bit further. And this thing, if it goes out here, you know, it's one of those things, once the car warms up, this thing's not going to have a lot of condensation. So I think it'll be fine. Now, this would be a terrible idea if you were trying to do a front of the track, because one of the things that happens is the exhaust, the heat, it actually messes with the timing beams. And we've actually had that happen. Happy had a downpipe one time that dumped right in front of the front tire, and the timing beams would sporadically mess up. But back of the track stuff, we don't stage with the tire, we stage with the front end, so it won't make any difference. So I think I'm gonna do that. The other thing, guys, with my car, which everybody points out, and I hate it too, the back wheels on my car are like probably where the hood is, on the outside edge. So the back wheels are way inside right now. So I 100% feel confident that even if this thing was to blow a head gasket, and I do have water in the heads, but if it was to blow a head gasket or something and get some water out the exhaust, this is not going to make it so that I have a problem, I don't think. Because usually when you have a blow head gasket, it dumps it up there somewhere, and then it goes everywhere. So you're kind of in it anyway. But I don't think it'll be a problem. We'll see how it works out. That'll be interesting with it pointing down. And I may not ever point it straight down. Clint with the Blazer, he actually has his pointed. He's got one on each side, and it's kind of thrusting like this. And so, you know, he's very fast, no prep car, back at the track. You know, something like that may be, you know, what we try on the back of the track. I don't know if it'll work or not. It may not. It may be a bust. It may not help any at all. But at least I've got some options. So that's what we're going to try to do. Okay, so you can see my welding is getting bad and worse. There are some decent welds on here, but you can see I kind of got a little hot. When it turns gray like that, that just means you overheated the metal. When you got that color on it, that means it's pretty close to where it needs to be. So let's crank this thing up, push it out. I got to take the front end off of it. I got to take the downpipe off of it, and then I'll get it in there and get it welded up. All right, guys. Well, man, look at the difference in the color on that weld versus that weld. I'll tell you what I did different. The only thing I did different is I noticed that the argon flow coming through the regulator was on 15 CFH instead of 20. And so get a little bit more gas coverage. And the torch we're using the number 12 gas lens. But man, that looks a ton better. Like a ton. I mean, my welds still look like crap. That spot right there, I kind of blowed it up because that was at first that was one of my first tacks before I got the argon turned up, and of course it's on. It's pretty good. You're gonna be able to see that pretty good. But I've got some nice little welds through there. Look at that. Look at those little dimes, or those little mini dimes. Man, there's some couple spots in there, guys, that actually look halfway decent. And this is going to be up, so, oh yeah, no, you'll be able to. What? I'm actually going to have some decent welds that are up? That is not cool, guys. What is the world coming to? Normally makes all my welds look like crap on top. Well, there's a couple of them on there that look good. I don't know what I was doing in that area right there, but I'm very happy. So now we have an adjustable bullhorn, and I did stub it out. That piece back here is sticking out through that V-band. All right, guys, comment, like, and subscribe. Go to turbojohnracing.com, grab yourself some merchandise. We'll see you at the track soon. Thanks, guys.